Continuing with the letter of James, chapter 3, verses 1 to 12. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers and sisters, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. For all of us make many mistakes. Anyone who makes no mistakes in speaking is perfect, able to keep the whole body in check with a bridle. If we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we guide their whole bodies. Or look at ships. Though they are so large that it takes strong winds to drive them, yet they are guided by a very small rudder, wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great exploits. How great a forest is set ablaze by a small fire. And the tongue is a fire. The tongue is placed among our members as a world of iniquity. It stains the whole body, sets on fire the cycle of nature, and is itself set on fire by hell. For every species of beast and bird, of reptile and sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by the human species, but no one can tame the tongue, a restless evil full of deadly poison. With it we bless the Lord and Father, and with it we curse those who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth comes blessing and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this ought not to be so. Does a spring pour forth from the same opening both fresh and brackish water? Can a fig tree, my brothers and sisters, yield olives, or a grapevine figs? No more can salt water yield fresh. It's just my hunch, but do you think James has just been involved in an argument in his church life? And a real humdinger of an argument at that. I mean, it's a common wisdom, of course, that the tongue is a very powerful organ of the body in the sense of the speech that it enables us to make. And it's interesting to me how we have all these different images for the impact that the tongue can have. Fairly mild ones like the rudder of a large ship, and a small word can set a very different course. Maybe a little stronger, like the bridle in a horse's mouth to control and direct. And at the end, quite a mild image of a spring that can bring forth fresh water, or brackish. But in the middle, there is this really heavy and really dramatic image. That the tongue is that member of the body that needs to be tamed like a wild animal, and indeed is a source of evil and under the influence of hell itself. That is strong language, and you just wonder what's just been said, or what is being said in the church to which James belongs. And I think there's another clue in the very opening phrase. Not many of you should become teachers, like myself, of course, like John, like James. And you wonder if, in effect, James is saying, who on earth would want this job when you get all this grief and all this bad mouthing that maybe he is himself experiencing? It often strikes me that in the course of a day, a week, a month, most of us will pour forth many words, particularly if we're ministers, I guess, or have another different kind of teaching job. In the life of the church, we often describe and maybe even criticize ourselves that we are people of many words. Particularly in our tradition, it often seems that worship involves a lot of words. We pour out words. And many of those words maybe will have very little impact at all. And that's not just me as a preacher complaining of people who don't appear to be listening, but we will make words in jest, we'll make passing remarks, we'll do all kinds of things which will come and go and will be quickly forgotten, if not outright ignored. It often strikes me that amongst all those thousands and thousands of words that we may speak, there are, though, a few words that will really impact, for good or for evil. The wrong words spoken at the wrong time, of course, can have all kinds of consequences. Relationships can be broken and communities can be torn apart simply by a few words spoken in a particular way at a particular time, in context. And the right words, the simple words, spoken at the right time, can have such healing impact. And maybe that's why we need to take particular care with our words, because it's not just the words themselves, but the words in context. And our context is constantly changing. And wisdom in life is understanding the place in which we live and the words that are needed in a particular time, or the words that should be avoided for the greater good. I wonder, in the week to come, what words we will say. There'll be many for most of us. Which will be the words that will really make a difference? And which are the words that will really speak of faith and to faith? To find those moments, those contexts, when a few simple words will be kingdom words and will share faith and will build up the life of the church. That's a challenge for every one of us.